Welcome to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. Love to hear from you. Happy Friday, November the 29th to you out there. Black Friday to some, better known though as National Flossing Day. We've got a big show for you today. If you want to spend some money on Black Friday, you're going to save some money, you can bet it with some of these great picks we got for you. Again, always bet responsibly. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking some NFL with Sean Higgs, our star NFL handicapper. We're going to talk Jets at Bengals, Titans at Colts, Packers at Giants. And then Alex Smarty Pants Smart will join us for some college football. 4 games, Alabama, Auburn, Colorado, Utah, Baylor, Kansas, and Louisville, Kentucky. And finally, NFL Rapid Fire with Chip Chicken Dinner Chirimbes and our very own Craig El Guapo Trapp will be covering 7 NFL games for you right here on the show. We're going to give out a lot of picks. This is how it works. If you want the free picks, this is the best show out there to get them. Make sure you have a pen and paper handy, provided you're not driving, of course. If you've missed any of the show, if you miss any of this show, you can always find it up on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or on our podcast network, the Believe Podcast Network. It will be up immediately following the show. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you on social media. All you have to do is go to any one of our social media pages and fill in the comment section and join the discussion. You can also hashtag Parlay Radio. We'd love to hear from you. Who are you betting on? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you get food poisoning? All this sort of stuff. We want to hear it from you. Lots of games today, lots of free picks. Going to bet with the best sporting intelligence you can get is the way to do it. If you want more, if we didn't cover games you want, go to our website, picksandparlays.net. And right now we have a special for Thanksgiving and Black Friday, 2 specials actually. Our Thanksgiving special, 15% off anything on the site, any of our cappers picks, 15% off, use promo code TURKEY. And in celebration of Black Friday, $80 off. Any 2 cappers, $80 off. That's our Black Friday special. All right, I'm going to step aside, take a break. I'll be right back to kick it all off with Higgy Smalls himself and some NFL football. Well, welcome back. Well, while you were all busy out there ordering your Black Friday goodies, and of course, they're completely ignoring National Flossing Day, but that's a different issue. We've been busy curating some special NFL games for you this Friday for your betting needs. And who better to go over them with us than our very own star handicapper, Sean Higgs. Sean, happy Thanksgiving. Did you have a good one?
Of course I did. I was eating some leftover ham right now. You know, I have turkey all the time. I said this, I don't know if I said this the other day. So turkey's a staple here. But I love my fresh ham. Wonderful. And some nice rye bread. Woo! It's a party. It's like Christmas Day. And it's really Thanksgiving.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's make this like Christmas Day for our listeners and our sports betting purists, as we do have some wonderful NFL games to get to. Let's get to it, shall we? Jets at Bengals. Let's talk about this one first. The Bengals 0-11. This team basically sucks. They're 6-4-1 against the spread. Probably the best chance to get a win for the season is this game for them. They're going to call on veteran quarterback Andy Dalton, as Ryan Finley hasn't managed but 200 yards in the air in the last 3, so that experiment possibly over. The Jets 4-7, 5-6 against the spread on a 3-game winning streak, both straight up and against the spread, which is good stuff. And how badly, we have to ask ourselves, did Sam Darnold's early season mono hurt this team? Higgy, what say you? We got Jets -3.5, total 41.
Yeah, well, listen, him going down, I think it drastically. I mean, you see the Bills sit at 8-3, and the Jets are, 4-7? So, you could maybe possibly flip those kind of records. Jets could easily be looking at. Listen, they still could make the playoffs. I mean, there's a wild card hope for them. They run out of Cincy this week, Miami next week. But, I mean, Darnold wasn't the only problem. They had some defensive guys go down, too. So, it was, they had to work that out. But all teams go through that. But listen, the guys are back now. They're playing extremely well now, and the schedule's looking good for you. Like, you got a winless team here, Dalton. Listen, it's not like he's got AJ Green to throw the ball to. They can't run the ball with Mixon. The defense is. I'm shocked they didn't trade away Geno Atkins to try to get a draft pick like the Dolphins were doing. This is a win for them. Miami next week should be a win for them. And they're looking up at Buffalo, but Buffalo's got a tougher schedule coming up. Well, Buffalo's rolling into the the Cowboys now, the Patriots. I think they got the Ravens on the schedule, so they don't have some easy cupcake walk. But I like the Jets. I thought the Jets were going to be a good team this year. I like the Gase hire. He wasn't terrible in Miami. I know he's made some questionable decisions, but 3.5 here on the road. I'm going to lay with the Jets. It's a bit tricky. I get it. You got a winless team. Are they going to go winless? That's always the thing. But this team's just bad all around. I mean, listen, their head coach is comes from the McVay coaching tree, and what Sean McVay's not looking too good in LA right now. So maybe this guy, he got a job based on being an assistant coach for a team that went to the Super Bowl. So I'm not sold on Cincinnati at all here. I'll lay the short number. Let's go Jets. Get it done here. If you're going to be a good team, playoffs or not, you have to win against bad teams, and this is a bad team. The Jets should win this game. Plain and simple.
All right, so we're gonna take the Jets at -3.5. And what about the total? We're going to go under or over 41?
I think you got to go under here. I mean, because listen, I like Darnold. He's a good quarterback, but he's also basically still a rookie. He's still a young guy because he could easily throw some bad passes here, and you get a game like last week in Cincy where it's a 16-10. So under the total if you're looking at that. So that 41, I'd go under there since he can't put up 10 points. So
all right. Next up, let's get to Titans at Colts. Let's find out how much time we have. How much time do we have left, producer Andrew? All right, perfect. All right, let's go. Titans at Colts. Colts -2.5. Total on this one 43.5. Tennessee 6-5, 6-5 against the spread. Ryan Tannehill, much improved as of late. 4-1 straight up and against the spread in the last 5 in a tight AFC South divisional race. The Titans lost their first meeting between these two teams, 17-19. They're 1-7 against the spread the last 8 road games versus the Colts. The Colts 6-5, 6-4-1 against the spread. They're currently the third best rush in the NFL. They're struggling though, having they had a very heavy loss, 3-4 straight up, which isn't very good for them. And most recently was a 20-17 loss to the Texans. It's struggling of late, though, definitely. Higgy Smalls, we got Colts -2.5, as I said, the favorites at home, 43.5 total points. How do you see this one?
Well, Indy gets some extra rest, which is always good, but the Jags are coming in off a blowout, so basically that's like getting extra rest. In this spot, though, and I'm a Colts fan. We've talked about them often on the show here, and I'm a big Colts backer. I like their team, but I'm leaning Tennessee. We're going to take the Titans here. If you can't lay 3 at home, let's be honest, you're not the better team. Tennessee's totally different with Tannehill behind center. I mean, Henry's running the ball like a beast. The defense is the defense. But as much as I like the points here, and I think forget the points. I think Tennessee will win this game outright. I think this game's going to be a shootout, 43.5. I think we're going to see a lot of points in this game, believe it or not. As much as I like the Tennessee defense, I think this game here is going to be played to the mid-40s, 50s. I think it'll probably get close to 60 in this game. Somebody's scoring 30 in this game, and it's going to go over the total. So I'm hoping Tennessee because I like the Titans out right here. So we'll go Tennessee and the over in Indianapolis.
All right, Tennessee and the over. It is that would be the Titans +2.5 and 43.5 is the total points on that one. Okay, so let's do the next one. Final one. We have Green Bay at the Giants, and Green Bay 8-3, 7-4 against the spread. This line shifted down to 6.5 after the Green Bay offense struggled mightily against the Niners. So I've got a question on this one. Let's talk about this one a second. There's been a lot of reaction to Green Bay's performance against the Niners. Some of that's Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams coming back and having to regain the chemistry, and Rodgers having to decide that there's other people now on the team, just like he was injured. Devontae Adams was injured. Clearly, he forgot that. But I just ask this: is this something systemic with Green Bay that we have to look to, adjust the lines, and try to factor it into this game? Or was it just a bad day at the office The Giants, they're just bad. 2-9, 4-7 against the spread. Lost 7 in a row. Most recently, a 14-19 loss to the Bears. Jabril Peppers, I love that name, won't be playing. He's a big defensive piece for them. That's going to hurt. But I ask you this, Higgy, Green Bay, bad day at the office or maybe something bigger?
That is a good question because I had Green Bay last week. I'm like, off a bye week, Aaron Rodgers. The last time they were in California, the Chargers just steamrolled them. So I thought this was going to be a game for them to take care of business against a team that, passed them in the draft for Alex Smith. And they come out and just lay an egg, a total egg on both sides of the ball, everywhere. I mean, right out of the gate, there's a fumble, a touchdown, it's 7-0, and then the wheels just come off the bus. It's a tricky spot because I'm thinking that's the game they're going to come out and make a statement because everybody's a little, is Green Bay not that good? Who they beaten, this and that, and then the 49ers just really lay it to them. But here you get a cupcake trip, so you're going from one side of the country to the other to play the Giants, who got their own problems on offense, rookie quarterback, the offensive line. He came out great against Tampa, and we've seen him interceptions and fumbles. I think the line's tricked down a little bit here because of Barkley. I think after seeing that, I don't even want to call it a defense because the Packers didn't put on much fight, but the Packers defense on Sunday night, I'm thinking people are thinking Barkley's going to be able to gash these guys. But then you come back to reality and be like, is this rookie quarterback and this bad Giants defense going to slow down Rodgers off a bad game? I'm attributing to, some teams, we talk about West Coast teams having a 1:00 early game here on the East Coast. So maybe, two trips out west, this wasn't their thing this year. And I hate laying the 6.5 on the road, but I'm going to have to. It's just Rodgers and even Jones and running back. I mean, he's having a great year. It's a totally different team. He's got, 11 touchdowns out of the backfield. That's something Rodgers never had. At least, Adams is back. He's got variations, move the ball around. Again, though, when Adams comes back, he's been gone for a while. So maybe they work out the kinks. You expect that in a bye week, though, and not in live action on, a Sunday night football. But I don't know. I just came back to Giants. The Giants are a bad team, and you got an 8-3 team here. They got to fight with Minnesota for the division, playoffs, home field, stuff like that. So,
all right,
lean to the Packers with all the situations rounded in.
All right. So, what are we taking on this? You got 5 seconds.
Packers 6.5. We'll lay it.
All right, Higgy Smalls. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend. We'll speak to you next week. We will be right back on Picks and Parlays after this. Welcome back to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Happy Black Friday, everyone. Hope you are spending your money wisely. By the way, if you're going to spend your money wisely, let me help you spend it and make a little bit of money as well. Right now on our website, picksandparlays.net, we have a Black Friday special. 2 cappers, $80 off, that is. $80 off. 2 cappers special at Picks and Parlays. Be sure to go on the site. And of course, we still have our Thanksgiving special, 15% off anything in your shopping cart. Use promo code TURKEY. And speaking of expert cappers, we're going to cover a little college football. Very pleased to welcome back to the show one of our star handicappers, Alex Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants, thanks so much for joining us. Happy Black Friday for you, even though I know you're in Canada.
We've got Black Friday here too.
Oh, you do? You say it's Black Friday A, right?
A, that's right, the A version.
It's the A version. All right, well, we're going to cover 4 games. Let's get to it. Let's start with Baylor at Kansas. Baylor 10-1, 7-4 against the spread. Bounced back with a win versus Texas 24-10 after they suffered their first loss to Oklahoma earlier in the month. Quarterback Charlie Brewer is listed as probable, although a few questions remain. That could be a big issue on this game. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 and under in 6 of 9. Their opponent, Kansas, 3-8, 5-6 against the spread. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Most recently, a loss to Iowa State, 31-41. They're 1-7 straight up in the last 8 and a total over 6 of 9 games. I think the line on this is Baylor minus 14, total of 52. Smarty Pants, make us smarter.
Well, it looks like there's value here on the line with Baylor, but, according to my power rankings, Baylor's overrated. 11th in the nation. Absolutely not. Don't believe that at all. And 14 points, there's a reason why they're only 14-point favorites here. Kansas is uptrending, hardworking team, well-coached team. There's chemistry, and Baylor has Oklahoma on board next week, and it could be a look-ahead game. Absolutely.
A big look-ahead game. So what do you like on this? If we want to make some money on this game, help us invest all of those Black Friday savings into a big profit.
Well, if we want to make some money on this game, we're going to have to wait for the line to sort of twist off at 14.5 or higher for me to be interested in taking Kansas. I'm not knocking Kansas here. I think that this game is being perfectly lined at the moment, and wait for a 14.5 grabber.
So wait for this line to go to 14.5 and then grab it. Okay, we've got it. So we will recap that at the end of the show if anybody missed that. All right, next one. Let's do, going to keep the biggie for the lasty. Let's talk about Louisville at Kentucky. Louisville 7-4, 7-4 against the spread. They won 2 in a row, most recently beating Syracuse 56-34. They're 4-2 against the spread in the last 6, and they've gone over in 5 of the last 7 games. In week 14 games, the Cardinals are a perfect 8-0 for the last 8 years. I love these statistics. This is college football. So much changes in 8 years, but it's one of these things that people are going to say, oh, look at that. I'm in on that one. For the Wildcats, though, they're 6-5, 8-3 against the spread, coming off a destruction of Tennessee Martin. By the way, this sounds more like a drink than a school. Like, bartender, I'll have a double Tennessee Martin on the rocks, please. And in fact, that sounds great. Maybe I'm going to go straight after the show and get one of those. They beat them 50-7. They're only averaging 27 points a game, partly because when they play good teams like Georgia, they get shut out by scorelines like 21-0. Georgia with a clean sheet, as we would say in European footballing terms. Kentucky have gone under in the last 8 games. The line on this one I have is Kentucky -3 and a total of 53. I want to make money. I want to start the new year off with a nice big pot of gold. What do I do on this one?
You know, I'm completely lost on this one. I'm going to be honest here. I have to be honest all the way. When lines are perfect and when I can't see, I could make an argument either way. But I mean, to convincingly make an argument and have my heart in the right place, telling the clients exactly where they should go with this game, I think they're better off looking somewhere else. I know we're supposed to be talking about the game, but, in all my best judgment, I would say lay off this game with everything you have. Take your money and spend it on Black Friday.
Take your money, spend it on Black Friday. So avoid this one like the plague.
Like the absolute plague. And I think you're going to see what happens. You're going to see I mean, you may as well be throwing darts. Well, there's some pretty good dart players, isn't there? But,
big risk, no value. Let's avoid it. That's not how you make money. All right. We do have a few games left here. So let's get to them, shall we? Let's take Colorado versus Utah Utes. Colorado Buffaloes 5-6, 6-5 against the spread. Despite a nasty 4-game losing streak, the Buffaloes have won 2 on the bounce, and they're looking to make it 3 against the Utes. Their last outing was a 20-14 win over Washington. They've 7 players out of the squad for the season already with injuries. I mean, already we're late on in the season, but 7 players in the squad out with injuries. They're 5-13, though, straight up in the last 18 games, and they are playing the 10-1 Utah Utes, who've gone 8-3 against the spread. Utah perfect on the season, other than that 23-30 loss to the University of Spoiled Children, and clearly USC bought that win. Coming off a 35-7 win against Arizona. They're 7-0 against the spread in the last 7. Total has gone under in 5 of the last 7 for the Utes. Big. I mean, they are 28.5-point favorites here with a total of 49. Can we make money on this one, Smarty Pants?
I think we can make money on this one. And the reason why, if you're brave enough and you have the cannolis to do it, I'd lay up to 30 points with this team. I think Utah comes out here and just absolutely explodes on them. And they're as they move towards the Pac-12 championship. Absolutely. They're going to destroy them. And mark my words on that. We're talking 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns. Wow. Okay. I like it. It should be a good game to watch. I mean, particularly if you're a Ute fan, but not so much if you're someone that maybe went to Colorado, because you're probably going to be crying. By the way, you can always join the discussion live on our social media at Parlay Radio. That's hashtag Parlay Radio, by the way. All right, next up, last game. I believe this is the last game we have, isn't it? Do you have any others? Should we throw some more in? No, we won't. We'll go with this one. All right, let's take care of this game then. We've got Alabama, Auburn. Who cares about this game? Let's end the segment. Just kidding. Okay, little joke, little college football humor for everybody. Alabama, Auburn. Alabama has the fewest points. This is interesting. Obviously, Tua's injured, and that's, the big story, right? I mean, but this is the fewest points that Alabama has been favored since the 2018 championship game. Quarterback Mac Jones is going to have a tough test against this Auburn defense. But the good news is on the defensive side, Davis, Dale, and Mathis are all returning from injury for the Crimson Tide. For Auburn, they haven't allowed more than 24 points a game all season. They shut out Samford, 52-0. I'm wondering if that's Samford and Sons last outing. The under has cashed in Auburn's last 4. They're 11-3 against the spread in the last 14 road games, and they're 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 at home. However, Alabama still favored, -3.5, with a total of 50. Explain, please, Smarty Pants.
Well, Alabama has so many 5-star and 4-star recruits. I mean, all the way through the lineup. It doesn't matter. Somebody always seems to step up. And I think that's what the lines makers were expecting here. And they're throwing in a hook on top of it to start us off with. So, I mean, if you're brave enough to go with Auburn, go ahead at 3.5. It is the smart play, so to speak. But the under looks a lot better here, because I just think Alabama is going to just pound the throat down the throat of Auburn's defense this week, and I think Auburn is going to reciprocate, and we're going to see and we're going to see an under. I think we're going to see a score in the high 40s.
Oh, high 40s. Okay, so we're going to go under here. So I just want to recap our games. We're going to go under on the Alabama-Auburn game. Okay, on the Colorado-Utah game. Which was the one we were avoiding like the plague? That was not Colorado, Utah. That was Louisville, Kentucky, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm getting it there. What else you got? We've got a couple minutes left. What else do you have for us, Smarty Pants?
What else do I have for us? Who is going to a futures bet on a national championship?
Let's
do it.
Yeah, let's have it.
I want to hear from you first. From you first, please.
UCLA.
You see, yeah. Okay.
Hey, I bleed brew in blue. What can I say? Okay, I'm sorry. In gold.
There's no value to Ohio State at this point, but I do believe Clemson wins it again, and the value is not there once again. But it's a decent bet. I think we see Clemson come out of this at the end.
So you think Clemson? What's the money on Clemson right now? I mean, there's no value in Clemson?
No, there's no value on Clemson. I'm just pushing out putting out what I think is a guaranteed winner.
A guaranteed winner, right? So what, you could bet $1 million to make $1,000,001.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Yeah, there's really no dark horses. It's Clemson, Ohio State, and that's the way I look at it. I just wanted to throw that in before it's all over, I guess.
So UCLA not really in the picture is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and probably not Tulane either, but yeah. Yeah, I know.
UNLV either. Oh dear, I'm striking out on 2 fronts. All right, hey Smarty Pants, tell us what do we have up on picks and parlays right now from Alex Smart?
We've got some college basketball action today. Once again, some NBA action, and I also have a key play in tomorrow's Chicago-Detroit game. You won't want to miss it. NFL.
All right, you can get Alex Smart's picks. You want to be smart too? Bet with Smarty Pants. You can get his picks on the site, picksandparlays.net, right now. Thanksgiving Day special. Use promo code TURKEY, 15% off everything. We have a 2-capper special as well for Black Friday. It is $80 off right now on the site. All right, I'm going to step aside, take a break, and be right back with more here on Picks and Parlays. Welcome back to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Also streaming live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. An absolute pleasure to be with you this Black Friday. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. But this is the segment that a lot of you have been waiting for. This is our NFL Rapid Fire segment. Now, we're going to give out a lot of picks. We've got 6 games to choose from here. So if you've got a pen and paper, now's a great time to get it. Just a reminder, if you don't hear what you want on this segment, go to our website, picksandparlays.net. You'll find a lot of free picks there, as well as expert picks from every one of our 35 star handicappers. Well, speaking of star handicappers, I'm very pleased to welcome to the show, first of all, the man to my immediate left, and if you're listening on radio, well, you'll have to visualize it. Chip, Chicken Dinner, Chirimbes. Chip, thanks for coming in.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. You know that, Nick.
And Craig, El Guapo Trapp at the end. Craig, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
And we got 7 games, not 6.
Oh, it's 7. Well,
so it's even better.
Yeah,
one to grow on.
That
One
way
to
you
grow
know
on.
you got to win it.
All right, well, let's kick it off, shall we? Let's start with Washington, Carolina. This is the 10 a.m. Pacific game. Let's start with you, Mr. Chirimbes.
You know, this Washington team's been absolutely horrible. We had them Sunday, and they come up with a big win for us, scoring 19 points and defeating the Lions 19-17. That's the highest number of points they've scored in the last 9 games. As an underdog in this series, the underdog has covered 7 of 9 times. Carolina at 5-6, that's a pretty big number to be laying there, Greg. I'm telling you, 10 points is a lot for this Carolina team, but this Washington team hasn't put any points on the board at all. Carolina's 4-1 in the last 5 meetings, Nick.
Well, I think this one, you know, the Panthers minus 10, like you said, total 39.5. I think you have to give the Redskins a little credit. Sometimes in the NFL, once you get that first win as a starter, you get that confidence up. Dwayne Haskins looked better, did the game-winning drive there. I like Washington here getting the 10 points. Panthers are just 1-2 the last 3. Yes, they were good last week in a division matchup, but that NFC South, anybody can play with anybody on any given week. They just are built to play each other. I think it's a little different story, maybe a little letdown spot for Carolina. Let's take Washington plus the 10 here.
All right, Washington plus 10. Okay, let's move along. Tampa Bay, Jacksonville. Let's start with you. Guapo, fire away.
I think this one's a lot about how Tampa Bay takes care of the ball. Jameis Winston is the king of the turnovers. When he doesn't, you saw what happened last week. They beat a pretty hot Atlanta team that was playing much better. I think you take them again this week. This Jaguars team is 0-3 straight up and 0-3 against the spread the last 3. They just haven't been playing very well. I think maybe, I don't say they mailed it in because we're all professionals here, but I do think Tampa Bay's playing better. I like Tampa Bay getting a point here. I think they went outright, but let's take a point just in case.
Well, you say Jameis, I say Jameis. And, you know, we will argue this one until the end of time. But Mr. Chicken Dinner, Chirimbes, what say you?
Well, Jameis, of course, has put up plenty
Wait.
of points. What?
Jameis? Come on, go with Jameis. All right.
When I was watching Florida State down south, he was Jameis. This Tampa Bay team, 4-7 straight up, 3-8 against the points. And, you know, Nick, we would have expected a lot more out of them. The last 9 games they've played have gone over the total. You said that Winston has been a turnover machine, which he has been, but they put up a lot of points. This Jacksonville, like Greg had said, had lost 3 straight and are struggling, or you had said, and I just don't see Jacksonville getting there. I think Tampa Bay may be the side here. I'm just so afraid of the quarterbacking for the Jaguars. This is a non-play for me, but I would lean toward the Jaguars right now.
All right, you're going to lean towards Jacksonville on this play. Let's go to the next one. We have the 49ers against the Ravens. And I believe it is time for, why don't we start with you?
All right.
Chipper, let's go.
I mean, Niners at 10-1 are a huge underdog here, at least 6 points against the biggest juggernaut in the NFL right now. This Baltimore team, 9-2 straight up, only 6-5 against the number, which is kind of surprising considering they've won and covered the last 5 in a row. The home team in this series between the Niners and Baltimore is 4-1, and I think that there's going to be plenty of points put on this one between Garoppolo and the Niners. Even though the Niners do have a solid defense, this Baltimore team, this Raven team just scores and scores and scores. I think they scored touchdowns the first 5 times they had the ball against the Rams. Pretty tough to play against them. I think the way to go is over.
Let me ask you this. Game of the season possibly here?
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to come up with some better matchups.
No, up to this point.
It could be. It could be. You got a 10-1 and a 9-2 teams, and I'd like to see
to
what
be
happens
that,
here.
right?
Yeah, I mean, and the Niners, I mean, their loss, they just fell apart so poorly, and last week they rebounded tremendously against the Packers. So it's going to be a great game to watch without question.
Yeah, poor old Green Bay on the receiving end of San
Well,
Francisco.
somebody had to take the brunt of it.
They did indeed. All right, Wapo, what say you on this one?
Well, Ravens are the hottest team in football. Yeah. This team, they look like Kansas City did at this time last year. And Lamar Jackson looks like the MVP candidate if he continues and probably stays healthy, continues to put up Michael Vick type numbers or even better than. I like Baltimore -6 here. I just think you have to ride the hot team. And when you have to lay this kind of number against a very good defense like the 49ers, it tells you how much respect the book is giving them, how much action is out there on the Baltimore Ravens. So this is definitely a play here, which is the worry, I guess, if you're a handicapper like we are. Usually you're on the opposite side of these, but I'm just going to play the Ravens until they buck the trend here at 5-0 at last.
What are the total points on this one?
47. The Ravens -6, total of 47.
Ravens -6 total point. Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah, I am too. Sure. And that's the 10 a.m. game Pacific time if you're on the left-hand coast. That's the only one to be in. All right. Now, Chip, I'm going to have to translate this next one for you.
Okay,
so I'll start with Quapo over there.
Okay.
The L.A. Rams against Arizona. Now, for you, that's the St. Louis Rams.
I got you.
Okay. All right. Let's start with you, Craig. Rams, Arizona. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, Rams -3 here, total 47.5. Rams team did not look good on Monday night, but the I guess the positive, if you're the Rams backer, is they've been good on the road, and everybody's getting hammered by this Baltimore Ravens team. Maybe there's a bounce back, but I just have to go the other way. I mean, the Cardinals have been really good, 2-0-1 against the spread the last 3. Cardinals offense can score and score pretty much on anyone. It's been their defense that's let them down most of the year. I like the home underdog here. Let's take the Arizona Cardinals +3 in this one.
The Cardinals +3. You agree with that, then?
I sort of, yes. I think the line is very shallow, and one of the reasons maybe is that the Rams possibly been totally exposed. They only scored 3 points in the Super Bowl and haven't been the same since. 6-5 on the year. The favorite in this series has won the last 5 games. But the last game against the Ravens, which we all saw, the Rams were outgained by 260 yards, and that is a tremendous advantage. And they really didn't look good passing the ball, running the ball, or defensively. The Arizona, like Craig said, has 2-1 against the number in their last 3. They're coming off a bye. They've had 4 straight losses, and they're 3-0-1 after a loss. I think Arizona may have a shot here in this contest. I think the -3 for the Rams is a telling tale, because this Arizona had the worst team in the league in the NFC last year. The Rams had the best team in the NFC last year, and now the line is only a field goal. I think the Rams are in trouble.
Also remember that this Rams team is going to need a lot of help, even with the wild card, because Arizona, obviously we just talked about San Francisco, only 1 loss in their division, and then Seattle, only 2 losses in their division. So they're going to have a hard time even making the wild card at this point. So maybe this Rams team that's banged up doesn't show up here.
That's what I'm thinking too. Is that I think they might have foregone the whole season right now.
You think they just after last week they just thrown in the towel?
Yeah.
Well, really?
In a short week too.
Well, you have to understand, this is a team that was at the Super Bowl, that was in playoff contention last year. Now they're totally out of it, and they know it. And I think
no, they're not totally out of it. They still have a chance. But
they think so. I don't think so.
Well, I mean,
they probably got to go 5-1 to make the playoffs. So that's or 4-2. Let's say.
4-1.
And they don't have the greatest schedule. We'll agree that. But on the other hand,
playing a tough division.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, these are professional athletes, and I just can't see them throwing in the towel.
They're banged up though. Their offensive line is a big problem.
We'll see. Let's just leave it there. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Let's. Speaking of having to translate, let's talk about the San Diego Chargers. Chip.
LA Chargers, we know.
Okay, against the Denver Broncos.
Well aware.
He means LA Chargers.
Yeah,
right. Against the Broncos. Why don't we start with you, Chip? The Chargers 4-7, the Broncos 3-8.
What a disappointing season for the Chargers, who were 12-4 last year. And the Chargers were one of the reasons I didn't think the Ravens were going to have the kind of season they're having this year, because they totally shut down Lamar Jackson during the playoff game last year, and they exposed what I thought the Ravens. And look at the Ravens are doing this year. But it's the Chargers that are having the problems. They've only covered 3 of their 11 games. They started out with a holdout in the preseason with their top running back, Gordon, and they haven't recovered. They just haven't gotten sync. One thing, though, in traveling to Denver for this team, they're 9-2-5, believe it or not, at Denver in their last 16 games there. But Denver, Greg, is only 3-8 on the year. They have covered a few point spreads, that's for sure. But they return home after 4 weeks on the road. They haven't played at home in over 4 weeks.
This is my NFL game of the week. Don't forget the line on this one is Chargers -3, total of 38.5. Kind of a little question on the line here, and that's why I made this my NFL game of the week. Check in, buy it at picksandparlays.net.
Yeah, do we still have that special?
Yes, turkey,
Right.
15% off all the way through the weekend.
And by the way, you can get Craig's picks, you can get Chicken Dinner Chirimbes' picks, you can get Higgy Small's picks, you can get any one of our cappers, Tony LT Greateles, Alex Smarty Pants Smart.
Oh, it's Black Friday, too. We got the 2-for-1 special
Oh.
underneath the premium picks drop down. So you can get both Chip and my picks for $80 off today. And if you're watching, 15% off turkey.
All right, there you go. Use promo code TURKEY, as Craig said. All right, last game, guys.
Nope. 2 more.
Oh, 2 more.
Yeah.
I only have 1 more. Well, you guys are teasing me. So
we'll
let's
work-
make, I'll tell you
we'll work
what,
it.
we'll go quickly
No
then.
wonder you said 6 in the opening.
Yeah. Well, let's go quickly then. Oakland, Kansas City. Let's start with you, Craig.
Yeah, Raiders getting 10 points here, total of 51.5. I like the Raiders here, even though they've not looked good in the last 2. I just think when you play interdivision games, these games are a lot closer than people think.
Right.
Kansas City is going to get all the action here, but I like the Oakland. I'm on the other side in this one.
It's a large number at 10, and I'm looking at the total here at 51.5. I'm just going to do a quick review of what's happening with Kansas City. They're 17-5 in their last 22 to the under. They're 10-1 to the under against Oakland in the last 11 games. The home team is 5-1 against the points. But overall, in the last 29 meetings between these two, the under's been good, Nick, 21-8. And if you want to go to the Raiders side, they're also 19-8 to the under when playing on grass.
Okay.
So there's only one way to go for me.
So how many years back do you have to go for a last 29 meetings?
Well, they play
Yeah,
twice
I
a
go-
year.
they-
So.
They play
Yeah.
twice a year. What?
Well, 10 years. So
maybe
you
three
go
times.
10 years.
Right.
You know,
10
go
years.
back.
Yeah, 10 years. Teams change a lot in 10 years.
Yeah, well-
the face of the NFL, other than the Patriots, changed a
think?
lot in the last 10 years.
I don't know.
All
Looks
right,
the same to me.
All right, we'll argue about this later. All right, let's do the next match. Well, we have who do we have
Patriots.
next?
Houston and the
Texans.
Patriots.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Right, this is a big game.
Sunday night game.
A Sunday night game. This is the big Sunday night game. Now, to my memory on this game, Houston do quite well New England do extremely well in these Sunday night games. They have a great Sunday night record. Let's go. Let's start with Chicken Dinner. You're up.
Well, unless they're playing Baltimore, of course, then they get crushed. But this New England absolutely 10-1. We're really shy on offense of what we've seen lately. In the matchup between Houston, they're 6-2-1 against the points. They are under 25-10 on the road. They're under 20-7 in their last after a loss. You know, Nick, this game is part of my turkey shoot weekend. This is a big time promo game for me. I love this game. I'm not going to give you a side on it here. I think these two teams are going to go head to head. I can see it going over the total because they're two quarterbacks, even though we've been very disappointed in what we've seen out of Tom Brady so far this year.
All right, you can find Chip's picks up at picksandparlays.net. Use the promo code if you want to get it. All right, you got 1 minute, actually less. You got about 30 seconds.
New England's -3.5, total 45. We didn't say that. 5-2. This New England team the last 7 against the spread. So as bad as the offense has been, they've still been covering. Why? Because they have the best defense in the NFL.
Yep.
I think that's the difference. Houston just 1-4 in their last 5 overall. Let's take the New England Patriots here. I think that offense shows up.
Yeah,
Major coaching advantage, too, for sure.
And former coach here, O'Brien, former coach.
And O'Brien's so weak.
All right, guys, there you have it. NFL Rapid Fire. If there's anything you didn't hear, go to our website, picksandparlays.net. You'll see it there. It's either going to be a free pick or available on our expert picks right now. Black Friday special, 2 for 1. And, of course, 15% off. Use promo code TURKEY. All right, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, Picks and Parlays, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm your host, at Nick Geber. This Friday, November the 29th, Black Friday, better known as National Flossing Day. Hope you've all flossed. Well, we put out a lot of picks for you on the show today. Of course, lots of games coming up this weekend as we get into the holiday season. It's going to come hot and heavy. We started with Sean Higgy Smalls Higgs. Let's recap them right now. Here's what we had for the NFL. Jets at Bengals, take the Jets -3.5. Titans at Colts, take Titans +2.5 and the over 43.5. And the Packers at Giants, take the Packers -6.5. Then Alex Smarty Pants Smart came on. We talked some college football. Colorado at Utah, take Utah -28.5. Alabama, Auburn, take the under 50. And Baylor at Kansas, take Kansas plus 14. And then we topped it all off with some NFL rapid fire. Craig's picks were Redskins at Panthers, take the Redskins plus 10. The Niners at the Ravens, take the Ravens minus 6. And Raiders at Chiefs, take the Raiders plus 10. And Chip Chirimbes, he had some picks. If you want to find out what they are, be sure to go onto our website, picksandparlays.net. You can see them there. Right now, we do have a special offer for you. That's right. It's 15% off your entire order. Use promo code TURKEY. All right, gotta go. See you on Monday. Have a great holiday weekend, and may your bets be big.